Hey everybody, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty, giving you my weekly comic book review. So sit back and enjoy.
News about comic books, musical instruments, tech reviews, and video games with your host, Captain Frugal.
Welcome back, comic book fans, and welcome back to the channel. Every week, a flood of comics hits the shelves, and it can be tough to decide what to pick up. But don't worry, that's what I'm here for. We're about to dive in to this week's releases to crown one book the comic of the week. Will it be an epic superhero showdown, a mind-bending indie darling, or maybe a hilarious new series that everyone has been talking about? I've read a stack of them, and I've got some strong opinions. So stick around to the very end to see which comic earned the top spot and why you absolutely need to add it to your collection. Feel free to drop your own picks in the comments below. I'd love to see what you're reading. So, let's get into it. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more comic book reviews every week. Hey everybody, welcome back to the virtual comic shop. I apologize if the audio isn't as great and maybe a little noise in the background because it's hot and there's no way I can do this without wearing air conditioner without probably frying the computer. With that said, let's jump right into Green Lantern Corps issue number 18. League of Comic Geeks gave it 144 ratings with a 3.8 score, and I gave it a 3.5, not quite as high. The Manhunters are back. These new versions of the Manhunters are attacking the Green Lantern Corps, and they're trying to get all the emotional groups together, if you will, to hold off this advanced army of Manhunters. And Guy Gardner's really stepping it up here, having a key role. It's weird seeing him as the reasonable person. Decent art in this issue, but there is next to no action, very little. But there is good story progression. The writer is Morgan Hampton, and penciler is Will Conrad. To be honest, I don't think anything super special with this issue, but let's look at what a couple other people say here. Here's a 3-star. It says, well, good things first, Guy and Jess interacting is being a semi-main focus. This issue was appreciated, having just finished the Green Lanterns run. It's special. Okay, so they appreciate that part. So, and the rest they didn't care about. Let's look at somebody else here. 4 stars. While a lot of this felt like basic action and threat sequences, the way the Corps fused their different lights into the one form was just welcome. And it was a hilarious idea that came from Kilowog, yeah, because he has a shout out to anime. Now, the anime title, I don't know if that was a real title. I'm going to have to ask my son about that. Another one, 3.5. Good issue that could have been great if not for the absurd amount of different artists here. Yeah, it was plagued here. I did mention one. There was a lot of different art involved. There's Joshua Williamson, Miguel Martinez, and it really did, I get it, throw a little bit of a clash. There's some alternate covers for this book that are nothing that wonderful. There's one with Hal Jordan. It's pretty good, but Hal Jordan's really not even in this book. My thoughts are overall, it's okay, but if you're not already reading it, it's not a time to start picking up reading this series. You might want to wait till the storyline runs its course. The next issue I want to talk about is the Fury of Firestorm, issue number 4, 802 ratings, 4.2 score, very positive. I gave it a 3.5, not as high. Writer is Jeff Lemire, artist is Raphael de la Tour. First of all, the cover is okay. There's some alternate covers too that are okay as well. And we have an issue here where Dr. Martenstein, we're getting at some back history, but with a new twist to it. This is DC rewriting history, whereas he sort of set up Ronnie Raymond and was using Ronnie for this Firestorm project. And not just doing that as well, but he also created Firehawk as well with the hope that she'd have an influence on him to help him maintain his influence over Ronnie. And Ronnie wasn't happy about that. It's separated. Now that's caused the whole inability to control the Firestorm because there's not 2 of them. So it's an interesting take. I don't know if I like this, that they make Professor Stein a groomer. This grooming Ronnie Raymond there. It's a bit of a slow issue, but it is a lot of story development here. No action at all, and some decent art. Looking at some other reviews here, here's a 4.5 star. Said do I not remember all the heroes in the Superman project? Or is Lamore adding more to it? I think that's the case. This is more to it, going back in history and adding more. But here's another person gave it 4.5. What a great issue. This run is my introduction to Firestorm, and I'm equally as much of a fan of the character as I am as Lamore's writing. Okay, now there's a difference right there. I wonder what Firestorm fans that have known this character for a long time, if they feel. I can understand from a fresh perspective, this would just be a cool, interesting story and you wouldn't know. But I wonder if anybody wasn't happy with the tweaking of the history. So let's look, and I'm going to find a 2-star here. Don't really like the retcons. Here we go. They're pretty stupid in my opinion. The pacing of this book has been pretty bad too. The worst thing is the main character isn't even a hero in this story, just a damsel in distress. I guess this is really the book Firestorm fans are supposed to eat up? With a question mark. We are 4 issues in and it doesn't feel like we're even close to a solution. Yeah, so this person looks like they know Firestorm a little bit. Let's see 3-star here. The Fury of Firestorm number 4 picks up where flashbacks of Firehawk and Firestorm's relationship, pivoting to Firehawk's conversation with Professor Stein, and ends back in Pittsburgh, checking in on Firestorm. This issue was an enjoyable read and someone who doesn't know a lot about Firestorm. So there we go. That's what I'd like to know from you. If you're a bit of Firestorm fan, know a lot about the character, do you like this retcon? I understand he's not a huge character, so there's probably not going to be a lot of diehard fans popping up, but I'd love to know if you are and what your views are on this book. The next book I want to talk about is Black Cat, number 12. 233 ratings with a 3.7 score on League of Comic Geeks, and I gave it a pretty close, 3.6. Now, I just want to bring up, this is a Marvel book that's lasted more than 10 issues. That's already pretty blockbuster, if you ask me. So the writer is G. William Wilson, artist is Andre Ganot, and the cover is a really cute cover with Punisher and Black Cat, really well done. There's also some open order covers that are very good as well. You know, that's a good thing to say right from the start. Yeah, so here we are. We have a cool cover, decent art inside. I wish it was good as cover, but it is what it is. That would probably taken too long. It's really a silly but fun story. Because the Black Cat accidentally hit the Punisher's dog. Yes, we're going to get flashbacks of a movie here, if you recall. And Frank isn't happy about it. He's taken her, captured her, and wants her to apologize in a way. And then some calamity ensues. So overall, I thought it was fun, but let's look at what a few other people say. We got a 3.5 star. Punisher, you really, oh my goodness, this person wasn't happy. You're my twin, man. I'd pay much more money for Black Cat to step on my neck and face her with sweaty bare feet, bro. So this guy is really shilling hard for Black Cat. He is, he's thinking the Punisher ought to be happy she was on top of him. 1 star. Yeah, a dog's life shouldn't take precedent over a human one in theory, but the way Felicia is being written since this Punisher arc began, she's showing full-on bubbling serial killer tendencies. She killed the dog by accident, sure, kind of tries to blame Frank for it though, and shows no genuine remorse at all. If I'm reading this, why shouldn't I not only get Punisher's view? Oh, wow. Okay, that person really isn't liking this. So let's find somebody that runs counter to that. 4 stars. I look forward to this book each month because I know it will be silly. I read a lot of darker books, so this one helps serve as a palate cleanser. Felicia and Frank go at it, and all our guy really wants is an apology for her hitting his dog with a stolen car. She becomes really curious about his immunity to her luck ability. Yeah, because I guess evidently Frank is already so far down the rabbit hole that he's not affected by her bad luck powers. Really, the views on this book are all over the place. 4 and 2 stars. People that tend to like the sillier thing are liking this. People that don't like the silliness of it are absolutely hating it. So what are your thoughts on the Black Cat issue number 12? The next book I want to talk about is Daredevil number 4. 1,286 ratings from League of Comic Geeks with a 4.0 score. Well, I gave the book pretty close with a 3.9. Drew Baumgartner is assistant editor of this one. I don't know anything about this guy, but maybe he's doing some good editing here because I'm enjoying this. Now, let's talk about the writer, Stephanie Phillips. Not usually one of my favorites, so maybe he's reining her in good. And artist is Lee Garrett. And I will say that the art is an interesting style, but I think it really works for this book. The art style just really fits well. It's a cool cover in my opinion too. I really like the cover. There's some open order covers that I don't care about that much, but I really do like the standard cover for this, and it's perfect for this dark yet interesting story. Because Matt is being pursued by a new dangerous villain named Omen. He's definitely a violent offender that takes out the eyes of his victims. And it looks like he's after Daredevil, or is it Matt Murdock he's after? And calamity, of course, ensues. I've enjoyed this dark tale, and he's messing with Daredevil and his abilities, and it's really showing. Previous issue, he worked with Spider-Man a little bit, trying to get over it. It's an interesting take on that. But let's look what some other people say. With a 3.5 star, this person says, I don't know, I'm kind of conflicted on this issue overall. I was very close to a 3-star here, but I'm settling on a 3.5 since I do think Phillips needs just a couple of issues to really get the groove of things going. Overall, the series has had a very major problem with this issue fulfillment. So far, every issue just felt flat. Okay, it felt like it needed a few more pages. All right, here's a 3-star. I love Daredevil. I like this run. I really wanted to adore this run, especially because the prejudice so many readers had against Stephanie Phillips being the new writer purely because of her gender. Okay, stop right there. I don't think it has anything to do with purely because of her gender, whoever Hetho is. It is because her writing has not been good in a lot of series. As I just said, I'm giving her props for this. And I'm a guy, and I can tell you a lot of her other stuff that she's wrote has not been good. And so I can understand why people go, oh, no, not Stephanie Phillips. Let's look at somebody else here. This person put a whole lot of things kind of happened, little actually did happen. 3 plots all inch forward, the hard 20-page limits are feeling really restrictive, and I'm mightily annoyed by one specific page and its nonsense physics. Phillips and Garbutt are working from a solid enough floor. These are competent comic creators. This is mostly an in-between issue. Okay, so really all over the place on this issue as well. But I think for the most part, people are enjoying it. Let's look at it one more 3-star for clarity. Something about this issue had me waiting for something to actually happen for the entire read. It wasn't bad writing at all. I just felt like something was missing. Daredevil is confronted by Omen as per issue 3's cliffhanger, and then some, as this happens in comic books, fortunes change. Stephanie Phillips juxtaposes memories of Matt as a child. Yep, she's going back into the past. So ultimately, people are just, it's okay. But I will say, I really like the ending of this issue. What are your thoughts on this issue of Daredevil? Next, let's dive into G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 330. 49 ratings with a 4.2 score, and I gave this book a 4. Not as high as I did, but this is a solid book. Matter of fact, this has been a solid series. The writer Larry Hama has been doing a great job. If you fell off the G.I. Joe wagon, and this is the Image series here, Image going on right now, it's really good. You should check it out. The penciler is Paul Pelletier, which I think did a great job as well. So good art, good story. What we have here is Dr. Venom from the past put a mental trigger into Snake Eyes. And of course, all the other ninjas that were patterned off of Snake Eyes, like Helix, and one they call Snake Eyes, the female Snake Eyes, and Throwdown, they have this in them too. And Dr. Mindbender has turned on this mental Easter egg, if you will, and calamity ensues. It turns them on the Joes. So we have Snake Eyes going after Scarlet. It's a good read. So that cover, it does a done job. It really, I tell you, if you're not reading G.I. Joe, it's a shame, and not many people are with only 49 ratings. Please do. I'm looking at the other people, and I'm telling you, the ratings are really good. Here's a 5-star. I was not expecting a crossover project. Yes, and if you didn't catch that, I didn't mention it at the very end. There's a Laura Croft getting into this series. Now, it's for a crossover. So that's an interesting little thing too. Snake Eyes freeing himself from the brainwashing. He did that too through his pure willpower, was a pretty cool thing. Another person, I wasn't expecting the cameo at the end. Exciting and glad to see it. Once again, Laura Croft. The issue otherwise has a sinister implication on the cover. It delivers on the suspense. Hard to watch Snake Eyes going at Scarlet with her having no idea what's happening. Yeah, he's trying to kill Scarlet, and Scarlet's like, what the heck happened here? And here's the lowest review I see of it, 3 stars. I'm just here for Laura. I could follow what was going on with the Joes, but nothing much seems to happen. Great guest appearance. by Cocaine Bear. Okay, first of all, this is Sophie Scarlet. You should be reading G.I. Joe. This should have got you in there. They must have known ahead of time that Scarlet's going to be in it. One last one, 5-star, outstanding issue with some deep cut callbacks to early Joe adventures. Totally stoked and looking forward to the crossover series. And I tell you, I am right there with you. I enjoyed this. I think you're missing out if you are not checking out G.I. Joe. The last book I want to talk about today is Transformers issue number 34 with 389 ratings, 3.8 score, and I gave the book a strong 4 as well. Writer is Robert Kirkman, artist is Jason Howard. And I'm going to tell you, I like his artwork on this book. I think it's fitting. Wow. So anyway, we got more with General Flag here, which is sort of cool. I like seeing General Flag, and he's bringing in Optimus Prime, or just Prime now, because, or just Optimus because he's not the Prime, I guess. Sad, right? As, working with G.I. Joe. And even though they're not technically Autobots anymore, it's really nice. And we get some of that Transformer Shredhead in this. Unfortunately, Shredhead has more balls than brains, as he's taking on something much bigger than himself, but he shows no fear. There is good action in this issue, and there's good story building. It's just a lot of fun. There's also some open order covers that are really good as well. Really, if you haven't got your G.I. Joe fix, I think you should be getting it here. This has been a phenomenal series, but let's look at what some other people say. 4 stars. This was a good issue. Definitely a step up in pacing for most of the arc. Yeah, it just moves the story forward really good. Another one here says 4 stars. The best Transformers issue we've gotten in recent months. Optimus had to explain the recent events of the Autobots and has his first run in with the shady Dr. Arkvile. After this, we watch an absolutely insane showdown between opposing teams. Cliffjumper and Shredhead do their best to hold up, but it doesn't go well. But it still looked epic nonetheless. And I'm telling you, this series has been epic, but this person here didn't agree. Danny here says weakest issue in a while. It has me doubting whether I'll continue reading along. I don't get it. His views really is counter to everybody else's. Interesting. And let's try to find one that's more down the center. Well, here is, oh no, there's a 2-star. I predicted it. Kirkman's writing for this issue sucked, the big fat one. Okay, I don't get that. I disagree. And there we go. Here's a 3-star right down center. So funny enough, the best parts of this issue are the parts with General Flag and not the ones with the Autobots. I'm excited for the aerial subplot. Cliff had a good moment, cliffhanger he means, but it kind of feels like it came out of nowhere and it felt, well, it was a little weak. I do think that the book is putting too many parallel plot lines at one moment. Well, remember, they're building the whole universe here, the Energon universe, and I don't think it was. I've been following those, and I'm really enjoying it. Are you following the Transformers? What are your thoughts on this issue? I'd love to hear it. Well, everybody, there you go. There's my reviews for this week. Apologize for not having any last week. Just too much going on with the 4th of July. Happy birthday to the United States. If you're not in the United States, hey, don't get mad at me, okay? We can deal. We can get along. We don't have to hate each other because we have disagreements, and that's one of the things I like to have with these videos, that, hey, we can have disagreements. You don't have to start calling each other names and things like that, because I tell you that happens often. All right, but let's all enjoy the comic books and share what we don't like about it. You are allowed to share your views, like or dislike things. It seems like right now, if you're one or the other, you have to attack the other person hard on social media. I'm seeing it like over the video game deal with Sony. I have my own personal views on that. Doesn't mean I hate anybody that believes differently than me, but it seems like people are, you're idiots if you have to have social media, and the other people are like, well, you're idiots if you only like digital. You know what? To each their own. I like choice. And that's what we're talking about here with comic books too. Choice. What do we like to read? What do we like about those stories? What we don't like? It's our choice. And I think that makes it a little bit fun. So love somebody today. Tell somebody you care about them, and have a wonderful day. Until next time, keep it frugal.